Hello everyone, my name is Rohit Menon and I am the SBR Subject Specialist for Phoenix Institute for Financial Training. Today I am going to discuss a few tips and tricks relating to the Strategic Business Reporting paper within the ACCA qualification for the December 2020 sitting. First and foremost, I would like to give you an exam paper overview wherein I am going to talk about the split or breakdown of the different type of questions that can be tested within your SBR paper. The exam paper is for a duration of 3 hours and 15 minutes and there are 4 questions in total which will be tested in your SBR paper. The SBR paper is getting divided into 2 different sections, Section A and Section B. Section A is comprising of 2 questions, Question 1 and Question 2. Section B is also comprising of 2 questions, Question 3 and Question 4. The mark allocation that has been allocated to Section A is 50 marks and 50 marks are being split in 2 different ways when you think about Section A. 35 marks will be there for Question 1, 15 marks will be there for Question number 2. There is another marking split or breakdown that has been previously utilized in the recent exam papers. 30 marks have been allocated to Question 1 and 20 marks have been allocated to Question number 2. When you think about Section B, you are going to have 2 25 mark questions in Section B. So this is the overall mark allocation for each and every question that is there in your SBR paper. Now let's talk about what are the different topics or areas that can be tested in each and every one of these questions. So let me first specifically talk about Question 1, which are the different areas that are getting tested in Question 1, and then move forward to Question number 2, Question 3 and Question 4 respectively. So first let me talk about Question 1. There are 3 different areas that you can be tested on when it comes to Question number 1. There can be consolidation for a maximum of 15 marks. Then you can also have accounting standards or financial reporting issues. And you can also have some current issues or current developments that is getting tested in Question 1. Add up all of them together, you're going to get 30 marks. So in Question number 1, the key thing that you need to remember is whenever you are asked or whenever you are being tested on consolidation, you will not be required to prepare a group statement of financial position or a consolidated statement of financial position. It's not a preparation question that you will find in your paper. Over there, you will be required to do one of the working notes, which most probably would be the goodwill working note. So you will be required to follow the working note 3 consolidated goodwill or subsidiary goodwill format, calculate the goodwill and check out whether any rectifications need to be done. That is one of the requirements that you can be tested on for 15 marks. Another requirement that you can be tested on for 15 marks relates to disposal scenarios where you can have a full disposal, a subsidiary is getting converted to nothing, 80% is becoming 0 and you need to calculate gain or loss on disposal, which will be shown in the consolidated income statement. That can be one area that can be tested in Question 1. Another requirement could be a part disposal scenario where a subsidiary is getting converted into an associate. 85% is getting converted to 30%. So there is a disposal of 55%. There is loss of control and that is why you need to calculate the gain or loss on disposal, which needs to be shown in the consolidated income statement. You can also have step acquisition, transactions within equity being tested over here. Another topic that can be tested within Question 1 can be the exchange differences on the retranslation of a foreign subsidiary. You can also be tested on the consolidated cash flow statement where they don't require you to prepare a consolidated statement of cash flows, but they require you to prepare extracts for one of the headings, maybe operating activities, maybe investing activities, or they want you to discuss about the cash items that will be shown in investing activities and in financing activities. So it's going to be a discussion question where you will be required to provide your explanations and there is very less priority to the calculations. I would suggest that you need to write your explanations first and then move on to the calculations. That is the appropriate manner in which an answer needs to be prepared. So whenever you are preparing an answer for an SBR question, try to put your explanations first and then try to calculate the numbers. Whenever you are explaining, try to utilize the word processor, which is one of the response options. And when you are doing the calculations, try to use the spreadsheet function, which is another response option that is available to the candidate. We will talk about the general points that you need to remember, and over there I will tell you how to utilize the exam workspace or the interface that is available to you when you have a remotely proctored exam. So let me complete the overview of this particular exam paper. Moving on to the second question. What do you have in the second question? It's an ethics question which is worth 20 marks. In the recent exam settings that we have seen, 20 marks has been allocated to ethics, out of which 2 professional marks are available for the overall quality and clarity of discussion. Now, what do I mean by overall quality and clarity of discussion? There is a logical flow of information that needs to be followed. You need to start your answer by talking about accounting issues or accounting errors that have been made by the finance director or any senior management executive of the company. Followed by, you need to find out the ethical issues that are there within the scenario. There will be some ethical conflicts between the junior accountant and the senior manager or the finance director of the company. You will also be required to suggest ways in which these ethical conflicts can be resolved, which is called ethical resolutions. So these are the 3 different headings that you need to have in your question 2, which is worth 20 marks. For the overall quality and clarity in your presentation, you will get 2 professional marks. How to score those 2 professional marks? A very good technical article is available on the ACCA Global website. Please check it out, where they clearly tell you how to score the 4 professional marks that are available overall in the SBR paper. 2 professional marks are available in section A and 2 professional marks are available in section B of the paper. So if you read that examiner's approach article or the technical article, you will gain a very good grasp and a very good understanding of what you need to do in order to bag those 4 professional marks. Moving forward, when it comes to section B, there are 2 questions, question 3 and question 4, which are each worth 25 marks. Now, what are the different topics or areas that can be tested in section B? There are generally 3 areas that you will be tested on when it comes to section B. Number 1 is investor analysis, stakeholder perspective, analyzing the performance of the entity from the perspective of an investor, user of the financial statement. Number 2, you can also have current issues, current developments. And number 3, you can have accounting standard related areas of financial reporting issues. Now, one piece of advice when you are learning section B type questions, please try and learn as many variety of accounting standard questions as possible, because this is a key area where students struggle. In the past, the candidates have not been able to perform really well in section B, and that's the reason why they have not been able to clear the exam. So I would urge you to practice more section B type questions, more accounting standard questions, and do not differentiate between FR accounting standards and SBR accounting standards. Learn both of them together. You are not allowed or you are not advised to do question spotting or cherry picking. The key thing that you need to remember is the marker has a tendency of testing FR related accounting standards within the SBR paper. So if you look at the past exam papers, you will come to the understanding that IAS 38 intangible assets has been frequently tested in section B. You will find IAS 16 PPE, property, plant and equipment popping up. You will also find IAS 36 impairment on non-current assets being tested in section B. So don't discount the FR accounting standards. Please learn them properly. Try to prepare your own set of summaries for these different accounting standards, which will equip you and give you the required ammunition to go and do your exam in a very, very organized manner. So let's move on to some general points that you need to remember when you go in for your exam. Cover the whole syllabus. Now, what do I mean by that? There is a syllabus guide that has been provided to you within the study support resources section of the ACCA Global website. If you go and check it out, you will be able to understand which all are the accounting standards that are going to be tested within your SBR exam. All these accounting standards are going to be comprehensively tested, or the syllabus is going to be widely tested in the exam. And that is the reason why it is better to know the basics of all the major areas of the syllabus rather than concentrating on just a few topics. And that's why I suggest you to avoid cherry picking. Try to see the bigger picture and understand the overall scheme of things. Now, what do I mean by that? You have a technical article which is relating to IASB, International Accounting Standards Board, conceptual framework, which provides you information relating to the definition of the different financial statement items, assets, liabilities, incomes, expenses, equity. It also provides you qualitative characteristics of financial statement informations. And a lot of other general accounting concepts are getting covered in the conceptual framework. A very good idea about the conceptual framework is needed because there are going to be some areas where accounting standards are not available. Say, for example, there will be some current issue topics like cryptocurrencies, bitcoins, where there is no existing accounting standard. So the accounting for those kind of transactions has to be determined with the help of the conceptual framework. So you will have to use the ideas within the conceptual framework to draw up the accounting treatment for cryptocurrencies or bitcoins. You have a technical article which talks about the accounting for cryptocurrencies in detail and tells you very clearly why cryptocurrencies need to be treated as an intangible asset under IAS 38. Similarly, crowdfunding can be a particular area where we do not have an existing accounting standard, and you might be required to talk about the potential accounting that will be followed for crowdfunding. So try to read the technical articles which talk about cryptocurrencies. Try to read the examiner's approach articles where they are covering these current developments. You can even refer to the IASB's official website to gather some information about how to talk about these current issues or current developments. The best way to learn current issues or current developments is to prepare a summary for all these topics which have been clearly mentioned within the examiner's report. So please go and check your examiner's report. Within that, there are about 7 to 8 topics which have been listed out as current issues. Try to prepare your own write-up for each and every topic and keep it ready for the exam. If at all that particular topic pops up in your exam, copy paste that summary, try to connect it to the scenario, and that way you can bag in majority of the marks that are available for the current issues question. So just go through the examiner's approach articles and make yourself competent enough to address those section B questions which are going to be slightly tricky and slightly tough to manage. It is very important to practice exam standard questions with the help of past exam papers which are available within the ACCA Global website. So please go through your past exam papers for at least 4 to 5 sittings. Try to practice them with the help of a laptop. Open your Word or spreadsheet function and ensure that you have written practice on your laptop of all these questions. You also need to follow a systematic approach wherein you clearly know that the technical answers are very broad. They have been written in a hugely extensive manner. So the amount of writing that you need to do should be pretty much controlled depending on the amount of marks that are available to a particular question. So try to understand that the technical answers are very broad. You don't need to write that much. You need to cut it short and write according to the number of marks that are available. Also keep in mind that you need to have a stopwatch or a timer in your head whenever you are typing an answer. It is very important that you don't allocate more time to a particular question. Say for example, if you have a 20-mark question, you need to allocate a maximum of 36 minutes to solve that particular question. So 1.8 minutes per mark is the allocation that you need to have in your head. So depending on the marking scheme, you need to allocate a particular time to a particular question. Once you run out of that particular time, please try to move on. As the saying goes, there are greener pastures and brighter skies ahead. So in the anticipation, in the hope that there are better questions ahead in your question paper, which are much easier to address, which are much easier to answer, you need to move forward. That's the only manner in which you can complete the paper. In the past, students have struggled in completing the paper within the time frame of 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I would urge you to try and address all the subparts of the questions to the best of your abilities and allocate as much time as is required for a particular question. Try to read the requirements carefully, understand and interpret what they want you to do in the question. So before you start writing your answer, try to plan your answer. Try to spend at least 3 to 5 minutes to figure out how many things do I need to do in a particular question. Say for example, if you have a question 1 in front of you, you will be required to calculate goodwill. You will also be required to rectify the goodwill that has been already calculated by the finance director. So there are 2 things that you need to do in this particular question. And obviously, what comes towards the latter half of the question has very less mark allocation. So that is going to be really tough for you to manage. Keep that in mind and plan your answer accordingly. So first I'll do the explanation of goodwill. Then I'll do the calculation of goodwill. And then I'll talk about rectification. That is the logical flow or answer plan that I will prepare. You need to have an answer plan like that before you start off writing or typing your answers. All questions are compulsory, so don't leave any subparts of the question blank. Try to write something, try to think about the different accounting standards and try to make some connections to the scenario. Don't write random accounting standards without any logical connections to the scenario because that will not give you ample marks. You can only get a maximum of 2 marks for writing general points which have not been connected to the scenario. Skim read through the questions in the first few minutes and zero in on the question that you are comfortable with and you want to start off your exam with. The reason why I tell you this is you need to boost your confidence when you start off your exam. And the best way to boost your confidence is to start off with the most comfortable question. So try to find out which out of those 4 questions are you most comfortable starting off with. Is it question 1? Is it question 2? Try to read through the first 2 questions and then decide which question should I start off with. Should I start off with an ethics question or should I start off with the consolidation accounting standard question? Remember, anything that has been written on the electronic scratch pad when you're doing a remotely proctored exam will not be examined by the marker. So you need to enter your responses within the response options. And you have 2 different response options. One is word processor and the other is spreadsheet when you're doing a remotely proctored exam. The word processor needs to be utilized for discursive elements, for discussion, for explanation, for assessment, evaluation. These are all the different verbs that they will be using within your exam paper. The spreadsheet has to be utilized for the calculation. One last piece of advice. Don't open multiple exhibits when you are preparing an answer for a particular question. So when you are reading through a particular question, you will have at least 4 or 5 different exhibits available to you. If you think about the first question, you may have, let's say, 4 or 5 exhibits on your left hand side. Below that, you will have the requirements. And below the requirements, you will have the response options. So keep one response option open, either the word processor or the spreadsheet. Ideally, you will be starting off with the discussion. So keep the word processor open. Try to copy any one of the requirements which you are planning to write. Copy it and paste it onto your word processor and then start typing in your answers. The best approach to follow in your exam would be to copy all the requirements straight away, paste them in your word processor, forget about those requirements because you already have that in your response options. So you have the requirement in front of you always. Open any one exhibit and read through that exhibit. Try to connect it to the requirement. So you must be able to draw connections between the requirement and the exhibit which has the information that you need in order to complete your answer. Environmental and social considerations are also becoming increasingly important and they are very vital. And that is the reason why you need to read through the technical articles which are talking about sustainability development reporting. And there is another technical article which has been written by the examining team which is talking about ethics in a digital age. In this context, it is important that you continually review the SBR technical articles. Try to check the ACCA study support resources and find out whether any new technical articles, any new examiner's approach articles have been added. Try to read the recent examiner's reports for the exam diets that have passed away. So for the September 2020 and for the March 2020 sitting, the examiner's report can be accessed and try to read and find out what are the normal errors that are being committed by majority of the candidates. Try to avoid making those errors. That way, you will be understanding the weaknesses that you have within your exam technique. That boils down to our next point. Read through the examiner's report and the examining team guidance to gather some insights and helpful tips on how to improve and enhance the quality of your answers. A thorough reading of the question requirements is very vital. Remember, more priority should be given to the discussion. Towards the end of your answer, try to perform your calculations or computations. So in your mind, before you start writing, you have a breakdown of how many marks are going to be allocated for the discursive bits and how many marks are going to be allocated for the computational elements. Key things that you need to remember: past exam paper analysis, reading the requirements carefully, addressing them individually or separately, and also remember that the SBR exams are highly time pressured, so allocate only the amount of time that you require for a particular question and move on. I wish you a very good exam attempt for December 2020. Thank you very much and take care.